Yes, people. Welcome to Saeed TV and welcome to the Manc Talk. We're back. We're live. It's Friday. Hope everybody's having a good day. It's nearly the weekend. Couple of hours probably if you are working a 9 to 5 left in your shift. We got a man like LB fresh from Dortmund.
Yo,
You telling me, bro?
yeah, I'm all good, man. I finally recovered in it. Yesterday I was still a little bit tired, mate, but today I'm pretty
Yeah.
fresh and I'm ready for this weekend. These next couple of weeks of fixtures, mate, are mental. It's like some sick games, so I'm buzzing for it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Overall, how was the trip, man? Dortmund, the feeling, good stadium. How was overall the trip?
Yeah, nah, the trip was good, innit? You know what I mean? I always enjoy the trips. Like, it's good to be with your mates and just like chilling for a couple of days. You know what I mean? Do what you want, have a little bit of freedom and that. Game itself, I don't know if you watched it. It was a bit dead,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
to be honest, coming out of the game, I didn't think of it going into the game, but coming out of it, it was kind of obvious that it was going to be like that because Dortmund just needed to avoid defeat. The problem is for Dortmund, if they went for it and went for the win and then got beat, there was a
Yeah.
slight risk that they might not even qualify. So I think they just thought, let's just take the draw. And then the last 20 minutes, City were just like, let's just knock it around, man. So it's a bit dead. Stadium's sick. Not as that yellow wall, though, man. I can't lie. I was underwhelmed, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It was still good, you know what I mean? It was still decent to see it, but it wasn't. I'm not trying to sort of salty or anything. I'm just telling you the truth, and it like genuinely just wasn't like that. I wasn't overwhelmed. I was probably underwhelmed by it, but sick stadium, some decent atmosphere, some decent noise in there, and yeah, man, we're top of the group, so can't complain, innit?
Yeah, no, I can't complain. And obviously, Mahrez, listen, I think he just needs to stop taking penalties. But you know what it is though? Before he started missing them, yeah, he had he was a very, very good penalty taker. Then he started to miss a few in big games, and then now his confidence is like it feels like it's just diminished. Like, you know what I mean? It's mad, like when you think about it. Like,
Yeah, the annoying thing about that is that he took two penalties now in the space of 2 weeks, and he's done the same thing with both of them. In that he's just put them at the perfect height for a goalkeeper. Anyone who knows about pens, about football, and that says that if you're going to take a penalty, there's a couple of things that you kind of need to do. You either just blast it down the middle. Maybe if you're not confident, just blast
yeah,
it down the middle. You know what I mean? And very rarely the keeper stays it just stood up. So as long as you don't sky it, you chill. Otherwise, you've got to whip it into the corner, like the Canes and that. And he always puts it at the perfect height for the goalkeeper to make the save. So then what you're saying is you have to send the goalkeeper the wrong way because if you don't, it's gonna
yeah,
save it. And unfortunately, Mahrez is coming under a bit of pressure now, a bit of stick because that's two penalties in two games. That, to be honest, if he scores the penalties in both of them games against Copenhagen and Dortmund, well, we probably win the game. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that's. But at the end of the day, we still top the group. So
yeah.
it ain't that deep, you know what I mean? But I think he's not on
Absolutely.
pens anymore, man. It's not on pens anymore, no way.
Absolutely. But listen, we're going to touch on Arsenal. Arsenal at the minute, obviously they got beat yesterday at
Yeah.
PSV. What do you make of Arsenal? Because at the minute there's a growing feeling that you know what the squad is starting to look a bit thin now. They've still got the wins. You know what I mean? They've still not been beaten since the United game. So they're not doing too bad. But in terms of like the feeling of like you can see a bit of cracks. How do you look at Arsenal now in terms of the momentum now? Do you reckon they can crack right now in terms of, you know, because they've only got, I think they've had 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, a few 1-0 wins, not many, like they're not scoring freely as
Yeah.
City, if you know what I mean. So
Well,
what do you make, man? What do you make so far, Arsenal, in terms of right now, this crunch period before the World Cup? Like someone saying
yeah.
they had convincing wins.
So let me just start with a positive here. First of all, like massive credit in it to Arsenal for being where they are because
Yeah.
it's that no one expected them to be here. Yeah, so massive credit on that. However, you know what I mean. This is a fight for it now. You know what I mean, it's a title race, so it can't be nicer. I've said all season that at some point I believe that Arsenal will crack, and we spoke about this on the show many times. The reason that I expect Arsenal to crack and eventually go on a bit of a bad run is because Arsenal haven't proved that they can't do that. They've not proved that they can avoid that. You look at City and Liverpool over the last couple of years. Look how many games we dropped points in. It's less than 6 or 7. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Arsenal, until Arsenal prove to me, you know what I mean, and to many other people that they can go for a full season, drop points in less than 8 games, which realistically you're having to do nowadays, then I don't believe they are title contenders. And I believe that they will crack. That's 2 games on the bounce now. They've not won the game. Before that, they had a 1-0 win, 1-0 win, 1-0 win. So they're scraping through. And, wins a win. At the end of the day, people will say wins a win. That's true. But I think that the evidence was there. 3 1-0 wins in a row. Then they drop points away at Southampton, and then they lose. I know they played a bit of a weakened side last against PSV, but I just think that, bro, this might be a period that maybe they could struggle. You know what I mean? They're getting a pretty healthy game. I think they're playing Notts Forest. You know what I mean? So that's a pretty It's a healthy game. But they won last weekend, innit? They won last weekend. So they're going to be going into this game full of confidence. And again, we just spoke about it like with the Leicester game that we're playing Leicester tomorrow. Forest don't really have much to lose. You know what I mean? They're playing in form Arsenal. They're playing Arsenal who, top 2 in the league, because they'll probably, if City win tomorrow, they won't be top of the league. But top 2, top of the league, they don't really have much to lose. That ain't great if you're Arsenal. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. And of course, it's a challenge that they have to face. But bro, I personally believe that whether this is it or not, at some point they will crack and they will start to crumble, bro.
Big up to Zane here saying we are not cracking as we are top of the league. We will strengthen Christmas time. Spurs are the one cracking. Fossil Jurassic Park football. You know what? Yeah, I think when you look at as well in terms of Jesus, the fan base have not come out for Jesus and whatnot, but they started to see the limitations of Jesus in terms of, is he a natural goal scorer? I think Jesus' overall game, I think every fan loves it because he brings other people into play. He's dynamic, he's skillful, but there comes a time where some cases saying, hey, Jesus ain't that guy. Did you always feel that Arsenal, they weren't getting a natural goal scorer and they can't rely on him for goals, really?
Bro, this is the reason that City got rid of Jesus. It ain't because he's a bad player. Because he's not a bad player and he does score goals. If you look at his goal record, because someone will now put in the chat, this is his goal record at City, what you're chatting about, he does score goals. Not talking about his goal record. What we're talking about is his ability to perform and score goals consistently. Because guess what? To win the league, you need someone to score goals consistently. And there was times where Aguero was out and Jesus would play 9, 10, 12 games and he wouldn't score in any of them. So that's the reason why. He's a good player, and you said it right then. He will bring other players into the game. He'll cause the opposition defenders problems because he's so good with his press. But the perfect example of why City got rid of Gabby Jesus, bro. Did you watch the Arsenal-Southampton game last weekend?
Yeah.
Right. So there was a time, I think it was Odegaard, he put Jesus through on goal. He needed to take 1 touch and bang it. And he took 2 touches. The defender manages to, and the second touch was poor. Defender manages to get in and gets the block or to tackle away. And that's why he was sold, because he's not clinical enough. Hesitation.
That natural instincts of a striker. Even he said it though about when he was talking about Haaland and whatnot, and he was talking about like he will get more goals. And sorry about that. But I think for me though, with Jesus though, I don't know if it's the hesitation. He probably doesn't think he's going to score that many goals. Is it within him? I'm not sure. And again, like I said, he's the kind of striker that will bring others into play. And this is what Arsenal fans are now lacking on, because now they've got to rely on Saka, you know what I mean, to get the goals and whatnot. And if you're going to win this title race that people are saying, obviously they're not going to go win it, but you need your striker to chip in with the goals. At the minute, like he said, he's got 5 goals, I think, 3 assists. But the goals, I don't think he scored. When's the last time he scored, Jesus?
I think he's on a bit of a drought, innit? Because Xhaka's the one. Xhaka is the one that's chipping him on at the moment. So I remember, bro. I remember the start of the season. He had a great pre-season, right? Which, I find it weird, man. After all these years, that after pre-season, you still got fans predicting what's going to happen in the season based off of pre-season. If you still think that you can look at pre-season and judge the season based off pre-season, then you're a dumb guy, innit? Because how many times have we seen teams not win a single game in pre-season and go win the league, or win every single game, beating Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and then flopping? And it means nothing. He scored loads of goals in pre-season, started the season off semi-decent, but I remember seeing people getting gassed about him. I was like, bro, he's doing nothing different to what he did at City. He might have had a little bit more energy because he was at a new club, but in terms of his overall game, guy was doing exactly the same, getting involved, pressing, and getting a few goals. That's what he did at City. But what he's not going to do for you, he will not do 6 games in a row in the Premier League and score in every single game. He won't, because he's not good enough. He's not clinical enough.
He's not scored in 6. He hasn't scored in six goals. I think Nottingham Forest could be the game where the floodlights open. But at the minute right now, it's not working for him. And Zayn Miassi said here, we don't have a proper goal scorer, but Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, Odegaard can get lots of goals. But United rely on Ronaldo or Wilders. Well, we're not talking about Ronaldo in United. We're talking about Arsenal in a minute. And like I said, there's a bit of a depth problem, you know what I mean, in terms of their squad. They need to go get a few bodies in there. They are at the minute right now, like I said, they are getting a few goals and they're chipping it in. But Jesus now, like I said, they're the one that was the hype. And Jesus right now, like I said, isn't getting the goals that maybe other. Because I have to get him out of my fantasy now. Like today, I'm actually getting him out of my fantasy because he's not delivering for me. And he's not delivering.
Bro, the thing is with Jesus, yeah, you need consistent goals. Strikers win your games. And if they would have had a better striker against Southampton, they would have won the game. I'm not shitting on him. I like Jesus. I think he's a great player. But is he a player? Is he a striker that's going to win you a league? No, he's not. That's it. It's not hate. It's just facts. You know what I mean? I like Jesus. I think Arsenal have got a really, really good player and a really good signing at a good price. And he'll score many, many goals for them. And he'll be mint for Arsenal. But will he win them the Premier League? I doubt it, because I don't think he's consistent enough. And that's what you need in the league. That's it.
Absolutely. Jesus is good, but he's not a goal scorer. Jesus is a brilliant round player. He's just not a gunman. And this is the thing, you know what I mean? And this is why Nunes right now, he's not, again, this is crazy, isn't it? Nunes doesn't have Jesus' abilities in terms of, you know, aesthetically, you know what I mean? A striker that brings others into play, you know, is probably technically better, but then will score more goals than Nunes. And right now, it is scoring more goals than Nunes. Than Jesus. So it's one of them, like, what do fans want? At the same time, I do still believe in the fact that if other players are scoring goals and they're contributing to goals, it might be better for Arsenal to have a striker that would allow other players to score goals. Whereas maybe in Liverpool, they don't really have many goal scorers. They've got Salah. Who else is out there that scores more? Nunes. Firmino's got chipped in with a few goals. But other than that, they don't get goals from midfield. At least they're getting goals from Xhaka, other people like that. So
yeah, and that's a very, very good thing to have in the team. And I think over the course of the season, that will benefit them greatly in their quest for the top 4. But when you go in for the league, when you go in for the Premier League, or you go in for trophies, I think you've got to have a striker that you can get that will get you goals, man. That's just my or like a prolific attacker like a Salah. Salah's not a typical striker, but the guy got pure goals. So look, it's weird. It's weird because you don't want to shot on a signing because it's a good signing and he's a good player. But will he ever win them the league? I just don't think he will, man.
Yeah. It's one of them for me. Like I said, it's a situation where at the minute Arsenal, like I said, they're not. They need to just probably have perspective. It's still a top 4 race for them. Their still aim is to get into that.
I agree.
4. I think right now, like I said, they're in it. They're in a good position. It's just that pressure of maybe fans thinking this is the best time to win the league, and now they're starting to look at situations.
You know what? That's so true, bro. Because like 2 points, yeah. First of all, if they didn't get Jesus, they probably wouldn't have got anyone much better than him. And second of all, you're completely true. If they was 4th now, right, or 5th, right, they were close, they were in that race for the top 4, then we're not having this conversation. We're having this conversation because as it stands, Arsenal Football Club are top of the Premier League, right? And that's why we're having, and people, not me, I'm not the one saying they're in a top Premier League race, because I don't think they are. I think they'll crack and crumble at some point, and time will tell whether they'll be left with egg on my face. But I believe that they're not in a title race. People are saying they're in a title race, so then people start saying, well, what could cost them the title? And I'm saying, well, if they are in a title race, it'll be Jesus because he won't score enough goals, as per the game against Southampton. Because ruthless strikers, they take that chance from Odegaard and they bang it in the Van Persie gets that, bro. Boom, back of the driller. Haaland, boom, back of the driller. You drop it. All these guys, boom, back of the net.
Back in the, yeah.
Jesus ain't doing that, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, we're going to move on from Arsenal. We're going to discuss Jack Grealish and the comments he made on a interview with L'Equipe. Have you read about this interview, by the way, or is this
Yeah,
your
yeah,
first?
yeah. I've read it. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, he says here, I often feel I do exactly the same as other players, but people talk about them because it's me. This is why I said in relation to Graham Souness, he always has something to say about me. Also responded by saying, I can't take criticism. Today, footballers, if we allow ourselves to respond to something said about us, we're portrayed as if we cannot stand criticism. Sometimes I want to say to them, English media, is to leave me alone a bit and focus on someone else so that I can focus on my game. There's always a noise around me generated by articles or things. It's linked to my style and play, and I feel like the fact that I play one of the biggest clubs in the world. I also imagine that the fee City paid for me contributes to this attention. Yeah, it's a bit of. I'm not gonna lie to you, Lewis. I'll be honest with you. It's a bit of a weird one from Jack Grealish. What did he expect? And I feel like this is what comes with the territory of being, £100 million player. And also the fact that the spotlight will be on you, Jack Grealish. I don't know what you think. What do you call it? There's obviously people like Graham Souness who nitpick at certain things and they don't like, the way you are and the way you dress and the way you carry yourself. But what do you think, man? And obviously people are saying about Almiron is people starting to get at him for the Almiron comments as well. But someone said no. He says, "Hey, when you cost 100 million, you've got to take the criticism." But what's your overall feeling from what he said?
Well,
You like
okay,
that?
so I think what he said is spot on. I don't think you can say anything in there is incorrect. I think he's absolutely spot on. But at the same time, and what? Deal with it.
Yeah.
He's right in what he's saying, and I don't want no one slagging him off for the interview because we want to see players talk more honestly, and he's one of the most honest players in the league. You know what I mean? Seen him after we won the league last season, being honest about his performances. He's given these interviews, he's been 100% honest, and I like the fact that he's talking. We need to see more players talking openly and honestly. So back him for that, and I think everything that he said in that interview was 100% correct. I don't think you can judge his game off stats and all that kind of stuff, but ultimately. And he's playing well, by the way, this season. Let's not forget that. You know what I mean? I think, if you look at all the games that Haaland's not scored in, Grealish hasn't played. Grealish is playing well, and you can't judge his game as stat. He's never scored goals or got many assists. He's playing well this season, and I back him for what he said. But ultimately, he can say whatever he wants. It doesn't really matter. Graham Souness, pundits, fan channels, people in general, they're not just going to stop talking about you because you said, "Oh, why are they talking?" They're going to talk about you. Why? Because you're Jackie fucking Grealish, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're a superstar player. All the kids love you all across England. You know what I mean? You always see the headband brigade come out. You're getting all these sponsorship deals. You know what I mean? Gucci and that. So this is what comes. You're right, bro. It's what comes with the territory. He's playing good football. Keep your head down and crack on. But in terms of, I say keep your head down. But ultimately, if he wants to do the interview, do the interview. As long as he keeps performing well when he's playing, I don't care. He can say what he wants, and he's playing well. People might in the chat, you know what I mean, who don't watch City might go, no, he's not playing well. He's playing well. Yes, he's not getting goals and assists. That doesn't mean he's not playing well. He's playing very well.
You know that point there when you say he's playing very well, is it frustrating for you? Because obviously you watch him week in, week out. You see him producing, and obviously he didn't get the many stats that he wanted at Aston Villa. He didn't have crazy stats, but you could see by the eye test that he was an unbelievable player. He's not allowed to do what he's allowed to do at Man City. Is it going to be one of the situations where with Jack Grealish that people expecting a lot that they're not going to go and get, especially in the Pep Guardiola system? They're not going to get the free-flowing Jack Grealish. You might see it flashes, but you're not going to see that in that system. So is he... That interview sounds a little bit frustration of, well, I want to do what I want to do, but I can't, obviously, because we're playing a certain way with Pep. So lay off me and let me do my thing and focus on others. Is that where you kind of look at it from as well?
Maybe a little bit, but ultimately he's playing well, bro. He's coming off the pitch and he's playing well. He's affecting the game. He's creating chances and he's fitting into the team really well. So much so that if you ask 99% of City fans will say now that they want Jack Grealish to start and Phil Foden to move on the right-hand side and drop Mahrez, drop anyone on that right side because they want to see Grealish on the left and Foden on the right. That's how well he's playing. Now, people will jump on him and say, oh, he's not scoring goals or assists. You know what? I don't care how many goals or assists he gets, as long as my team's winning trophies, because that's at the end of the day, that's what it's about. As long as Jack Grealish is playing well, that's all that matters, and he is playing well right now. And the Almiron thing, I mean,
Yeah.
people need to grow up a little bit. You know what I mean? The guy's had he's had a few beers or whatever.
It's weird though, isn't it? Like how that happened in that summer, and then Almiron has the best season ever. Like I don't know if it's karma or I don't know what it
and
is.
fair play to Almiron. You know what I mean? And he's probably took that. He's probably been gutted about that Almiron and thought, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. I'm a sick player, and that's what he's done. But it doesn't affect Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is still playing well. City is still second in the league and in all 4 competitions. So. You know what I mean? Almiron might thank Jack Grealish, mate, because he looks like he's done it, bro. Bro, I'm telling you the truth. That's what it's about,
Lewis,
man.
you can't say that, man.
You know what it is, bro?
That.
I want to see City players calling out United players as frauds. You know what I mean?
Listen,
why is Kevin De Bruyne not finding a clip of you from 2 years ago saying, remember when this guy said Bruno was better than me? You know that. I want to see this banter, mate.
I don't think I said that one. No, I said De Bruyne at one point was playing better than Bruno at one point. Like I said, it's one of them. I think for me though, with Grealish, yeah, I think the criticism is warranted. I think the criticism is valid. Has he shown the £100 million player that you guys bought him for? I think price tag doesn't really concern him because at the end of the day, players can't control their price tag. But at the same time, you know, there are going to be people out there that will criticize him. I think the likes of Graham Souness and all these kind of dinosaur pundits, they need to go anyway in football. Because I feel like they're not judging Grealish by his performances. They're trying to judge him the way they judge with Pogba about his lifestyle and the way he is and the way he carries himself. They don't really look at people in terms of what they are and what footballer they are. They try and look at external factors. I never try to look at it at a certain player. I just look at him as a footballer first and foremost. But with Jack Grealish, it's one of them. He's an exciting player. This is what people want. They want to see that. But it's one of them, like, we're not going to... I don't think, if I'm being honest with you, we're ever going to see that exciting player under Guardiola. I don't know. I just can't see it. But if he plays within the means of what Guardiola wants and he wins trophies, why should you care?
Exactly. And why should Jack Grealish care?
There you go.
So ask him a question then. You met Jack Grealish in the street. Say, what would you rather have? You score 10 goals a season and get 15 assists, but you win no trophies. Or you score 5 or 6 goals and get 6, 7 assists, but you win all the trophies. It's a dumb argument. Football is a team game. And people are singling out Jack Grealish for an individual guy and saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. He doesn't need to do anything. He needs to do exactly what Pep Guardiola tells him because that's the manager and that's the guy who's picking him. So, you know what I mean? These people need to chill out. I agree what you're saying. Some of these pundits, man, like, sometimes you think that they know better than Pep Guardiola. Like, no, you don't. Pep Guardiola's the guy who knows. He's the guy who's setting up the team. He's happy with Jack Grealish because he's picking him for most games. And Grealish, just to repeat, he's playing well right now. He's playing well. He's not getting goals and assists. And there have been a couple of chances that he might have had in the last couple of weeks that he should have done better with. But ultimately, he's still playing well. And he's still helping the team go forward and create chances, man. So that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. Big Up Maid says, we love Jack. You know what I mean? You know the same way you love Jack, yeah? I love Anthony. And Anthony, by the way, keep doing them spinning things because all these pundits that are coming out now.
No, bro.
Nah, man, keep doing it, man. I want to see entertainment. If we're going to see Jack Grealish not be unloaded and be the Jack Grealish we want, then I want to keep seeing the little fidget spin.
You know what, bro? You know what? Before I roast Anthony for his spin, that's a very, very good point. So pundits, all these people come out and say, Jack Grealish too boring. Jack Grealish not doing enough. He needs to take players on. He needs to show more to the game. A bit more. Anthony does it. But look at Jack Grealish. You're probably thinking, fuck that. I ain't doing no shit like that. Because look how he's got been absolutely torn a new one, Anthony. But to be fair, bro, that was very, very, very funny, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like you can't not laugh about Anthony.
He has no rules with Anthony. He has no rules. I feel like he's making a statement in the Premier League. I think he's trying to rattle a few people, but at the same time, Ten Hag didn't like it. That's why he took him off second half. But if he made that pass here, I still think pundits would be talking about it. I genuinely do. Sooner or later, if he does it and he's showboating, look what happened to Richarlison. Why is the art of football? We want to see this, man. The likes of Ronaldinho, they made us fall in love with football. And I feel like what Richarlison did, I love that in the game. Do you like that, or are you one of them where you're like, no, clatter him in and do him one? Like, I don't know.
Well, no. No, you're both, innit? You're both. Because if Anthony's playing for City and he does that, you want one of your players to go through him. But the thing for me is, right, is like, there's 2 points to it. It's like there's showboating and then there's skill. It's different things. So that last night, in my opinion, that Anthony did was just showboating. Now the question is, do you want to see showboating in football or not? I would say yes, to a certain degree. Do you know what I mean? If there's some sort of like benefit for it, I don't think there was really a benefit. He just looked like a bit of a knob. Then there's skill. So like, do you remember the Neymar one where he did the what's called a rainbow flick? That's a skill to beat a player. You do it correctly. The ball goes over the player's head and you got past him. He got booked for that. Why did Neymar get booked for a skill? You know what I mean? So it's just a bit weird. Like, I don't know.
It's one of them. Like, I feel like for me, big up to Obey says, I like the spin FIFA ideas he's doing. I feel like for me, I don't want football to be a robotic game. Like, I don't want it. And this is my fear. And after the likes of Brahim Souness, and also the likes of what do you call it? I seen Paul Scholes last night said someone needs to like go into him. I don't know what the comment was here, but he said something. Did you see the comment what he made? He said someone needs to just like put one in on him. Like here,
tackle.
Look. Yeah, he goes here. Look, he said here. He said something. I think. What did he say here? He goes here. It's just ridiculous. It's showboating. What is he thinking? I think he needs that showboating kicking out of him. I'm like, why would you say that, Paul Scholes? You're a United fan, and you're saying that. Like, why would you send that message out there? So now people that will come in now and they'll go, you know what? We'll do what Paul Scholes said, and we'll go into him.
Right.
And so look at Keown. Keown apparently said he would take him out. Like, what is this like violent talking? Like,
right. Okay. So if I was an opposition manager, I would tell one of my players to go through him, right? Because it'll be interesting. Not injure him, to hit him hard. Not injure him. There's a different thing between hitting a player ward and injuring. I wouldn't say injure. I'd say go through him. You know, let him know that he's in a proper game of football. And you do that because then he might not like it. He might not fancy it, and he could be absent for the full game.
Yeah.
If I was a manager of him, if I was his manager, I'd say skills. If you're doing skills to beat a player or to help the team progress up the pitch, do what you want. Because ultimately, what's the point in signing Anthony if you're going to then go, we're going to sign you, but you can't do any skill, you can't do any of this, because why would you do that? Because that's part of his game. The showboating, I would say, bro, right, okay, you're playing for Man United, who've not won a trophy in 8 years or whatever, like a proper trophy, in like whatever, how many years it is. We've underachieved at this football club for, I don't know, best part of a decade or whatever. They've gone through manager after manager. We've wasted over £1 billion on transfers. I understand that you want to do these spins and that, but there's a time and a place. It was 0-0 at the time he done it as well, isn't it? Like,
no.
So it's a bit dumb. It's a bit dumb.
It was a pass. If he made that pass well, I think then nobody was. But I think for me, this is what gets me. I still think, they were coming for him. There's certain the media are wanted to come for it, and I feel like now there isn't like it isn't hard to find talking points now. Like everything. Look at the Ronaldo thing. How long that took. Now they're still talking about it. Now look at this one here. Now Anthony, the topic on TalkSport and all these places now will be, should Anthony be doing that and this and that? Like it's a joke, man. Big up to Obey, says LB City signs Sane. I think Obey loves Sane, innit? Like you think he wants him.
Oh mate, you can't stop him and Alvarez, mate. It's wild. It's wild. But yeah, just to sort of finish off on the Anthony one, I would just say this. Was it funny? Yes, because he looked like an idiot. Does he deserve some of the stick that he's been getting? No, absolutely not. There's a risk, and Ten Hag needs to be careful. Ten Hag took him off. Ten Hag needs to be careful that he's giving Anthony the correct message, because you want to go on.
He said, "I will talk to him" or something like that. I think he
right. So what I'm saying is, so Ten Hag doesn't like the showboating, so that's fine. But he needs to be careful that he's not telling Anthony to chill on the skills, because I keep saying the skills and the showboating are two different things, bro. So, you know what I mean? Just chill out. It ain't that deep, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%, man. Obeyed, big up to you, Paul, for the super chat. Says Spider-Man. I don't know what you're referring to there.
Alvarez, bro.
Alvarez, Alvarez, Spider-Man, yeah. So listen, it's going to be interesting, man, to see what happens with that one. Haaland, is he a doubt, Haaland, then? Is he not Is he not?
So yeah, so basically, bro, he picked up a little bit of a foot injury. He's trained and he's going to train this afternoon. So yeah, but there is a doubt there, man. So we'll see if he starts tomorrow. If not, Spider-Man Alvarez will start, bro.
Alvarez didn't really play well though against Dortmund. It was a bit disappointing.
So what I would say on the Alvarez thing is he's kind of getting screwed at the moment. If you look at the last couple of games he's played, right? He's played Dortmund, which was a dead match because Kevin De Bruyne didn't start. He didn't start as the sole striker because Haaland was on the pitch as well. And both teams were pretty much happy just to take a 0-0 and shake hands. Who both qualified. See you later.
Yeah.
So it was a dead game there. Copenhagen away, he started, but we had 10 men after 30 minutes. So that was a dead game. And other games he's coming on with 20 minutes to go when we're 3-4-0 up and the team are just like waiting for the final whistle. So if he starts tomorrow, tomorrow's the game that we judge him, bro. We don't judge Alvarez on a dead rubber in the Champions League and at one where we had a man sent off after 30 minutes. That's dumb, innit? We judge him tomorrow if he plays. But he's got to deliver if he does start.
Yeah, he's got to deliver because obviously Haaland's set such a high standard, you know what I mean, and whatnot. And it's like, you know what I mean, City at the minute now, as soon as they leave or he's not playing, it's going to be a huge miss. But I think with Leicester, they've got a few games where they've done resurgence and that, you know what I mean? But you should expect City to get a result from there, you know what I mean? Like I said, I think it's going to be a walk in the park because 12:30 kickoffs are always difficult, man. You know what I mean? They're one of them where, you know what I mean, you don't want to even bet on a game at a 12:30. You just know like it's not going to be an easy game. But Leicester, to be fair, you've got a decent record there in the last couple of years, haven't you?
Record. Yeah, we've done all right recently, but you know, unfortunately, we're playing Leicester about 3 or 4 weeks too late because they've only lost one game out of the last 5, won 3 out of 5, and drawn 1. Coming into a little bit of form now. Maddison seems to be in the ground running. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game, and as you rightly say, it's early kickoff, and anything can happen in them half-12 kickoffs, man.
Yeah, Forest beat Liverpool, remember? I know Liverpool are not Man City at the minute. No disrespect to Liverpool, but they're not Man City at the minute in terms of flying. But I don't know what it is, man. It's just the crowd's up for it. It's an early kickoff. You know what I mean? And everyone's buzzing. Everyone's trying to get out there. And obviously, Leicester Stadium is quite a loud stadium. They got them little rackets that they play all the time. So
good news for us, bro.
Yeah.
Good news for us is that Kevin De Bruyne was rested midweek.
Yeah.
So he should be fresh. He should be ready for it. Bernardo Silva only played 20-30 minutes. Grealish only played 10 minutes. So we should be going there. Edison didn't start. We should be going there fully fresh and ready to go. But you know, it's going to be an interesting one. And obviously, City have a massive incentive because we can go top of the table tomorrow with a win. Put that pressure back on Arsenal. So you know, yes, it is half-12, but we do have some big pros. The freshness and the fact we have that big incentive of going top of the table is massive, isn't it?
Is this going to be the first time you're top of the table as well? If you do win,
I think so, but I don't think we've been top of the. I mean, someone in the chat might know if we was early in the season, but I don't think we have been top of the table all season. I think this might be the first time. Like I say, unless someone in the chat might remember like a couple of hours or a day or whatever, but I don't think we have.
Maddison as well. Maddison, man, I feel like he deserves a big club, but at the same time, is he going to be that one of them guys where, you know, like Letitia, you know, was at Southampton for most of his career, that kind of guy where he could still become a Premier League, you know what I mean? Not icon, but a Premier League, a good player in the Premier League where he plays at a club for the rest of his career. Like, I don't know what it's going to take because every single time he looks like he's about to go, he somehow stays. So I don't know, man. I think Maddison. I would love Maddison.
I got the details here, right? So he'll have 1 year left on his contract come the end of the season. He's only 25 years old. He'll be 26 in the summer. 1 year left on his contract. I reckon he goes next summer, bro. I reckon someone goes in 60 million, 1 year left, and I think they take him out. Would you have him at United?
Are you mad? Of course, man.
Are you
mad? I love Maddison, mate. You know what? I wanted him before we got Bruno. I'll be honest with you. I wanted him before we got Bruno. So
I think there's consistency issues, though, bro. To be honest,
I hear that, but I just feel like he plays good. You know, there's certain players they don't really have to have the maddest system, whatnot, but it's still good. You still know they're good. But I still think this guy's good. But I think a perfect club would be Newcastle because they need him. They need that kind of attacking midfielder. They don't really have one. So I think right now, if they could imagine they have Bruno Mahrez, Maddison, and let's say Joe Linton in that midfield, bloody hell, man.
That's naughty, that. That's actually proper naughty, that, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good shout. Well. He'll definitely be off in the summer.
Tielemans as well. Contract ends in the summer as well.
Don't
Again,
rate him.
someone get it for free.
Don't rate him.
Yeah, I think
He's an average player.
Nah, he's not average. He's
I
decent.
think he's average, man. I tell you now, I've seen him a lot. I don't think he concentrates. I think he's an average player. I won't have him anywhere near my football club. I honestly don't.
I think he's a decent player. I think he's technically gifted. I think he's a very, very good ball carrier. But at the same time, I just feel like, that for me, it's always been about mobility. And he gets tired around the 60th minute mark. I don't know. I just look at him. When I look at him in games, you start to see he's less effective as the game carries on. That's just my own kind of opinion that I've made about him. But you know what? For a free transfer, I don't think many clubs. For
a free transfer, bro. And maybe someone who needs a little bit of depth in the squad. Maybe, like I'm not saying like he's crap. I'm saying like I wouldn't have him in my first team, no way. But maybe someone who needs a bit of depth in the midfield. Who maybe he's in Europe, so he's playing a lot of football matches. Get him in. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's ass. I'm just saying I wouldn't. If you're a top 5 or top 6 team, I wouldn't have him in my starting. I wouldn't have him in the start. I don't think he's good enough to play in the top 6 side starting week in week out. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, you guys are playing that, but we've also got 3 teams that are in form as well. We've got West Ham, we've got Villa, and then we've got Fulham as well. So we've actually got teams that we don't want to be facing. But at the same time, it's not a big 16, but I feel like it's going to be equally as difficult. West Ham has started to play a little bit of form at the minute. They've started to gather a little bit of momentum. It'll be a tricky game, West Ham. And then you've got Villa away. He's just got Unai Emery, so they'll be bouncing, and they'll be looking for that first scout.
And you got the Sociedad game as well, isn't it? And that's quite important.
In between that game as well. So it's I think it's, you know what? West Ham, they're in decent form. Obviously, they've won. I think they've won 3 out of the last 5. I think it is.
Yeah, that's decent form. That's decent form.
Yeah, that's decent form. Yeah, 3 wins at the last 5. Not too bad considering the start they had. You know, but I think they've got a talented squad. Is Scamacca, Paqueta. Paqueta's not really, you know what I mean, done the business so far in the Premier League. But Scamacca is a decent player. But I just feel like with West Ham, it's just about getting rid of David Moyes, man. If they can get rid of David Moyes and bring in a proper, you know what I mean, a coach who plays good technical football and can get.
You have to be careful with that though, bro, Saeed, because unless you're gonna throw cash at it, you know what I mean? Like you're only gonna go so far. And I think it's a case of be careful what you wish for. David Moyes will do you a solid. He'll keep West Ham in the top 10. Right, and I think they will climb up the league, and I think they will probably end in the top 10, maybe top 11, right? And then he'll have a good season where he finishes maybe top 6. I think if you've got to be really, really careful in thinking sack him, get a better manager who plays nicer football, unless you're going to seriously open up the purse. Because if you don't open up the purse, you're going to end up with second-rate players. You know what I mean? And you're gonna find yourself in a bad situation. How many teams have we seen over the years who've been solid Premier League outfits and then decided to change? Look at Stoke. Stoke were a solid team in the Premier League. Yeah, solid. Never in danger of getting relegated, or very, very few times in danger. Yeah. They decide, we don't like Tony Pugh. Said we want to play nicer football. Look how that worked out. Yeah, and there's probably other clubs there that people can think of that have done the same. You just have to be. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying if you do it, you have to open up the purse, man, because you have to get these top players. You can't be getting these average ones because they're average for a reason.
I think it's one of them. Like someone say that Moyes is fairly rated. He's where they're supposed to be. It just depends on what ambition you want as a fan, and that's the you know what, you're right. Stoke is probably a reason where you go over that line, you then relegate and never come back to the Premier League. You know, what do fans want? I think fans now want to see entertaining football because they're seeing it week in, week out. Certain other clubs who have little budget. It's just one of them. Like, do fans want more than what maybe owners think? You know what the owners thinking? No, but we're still solid. We're a top 10 club. We're always in the wrong start. West Ham are in Europe right now. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe fans are fickle. Maybe fans want a lot more than.
Exactly. If I was. Yeah, so basically, what do you do? If you're West Ham or someone like a West Ham, you've got 2 options. Keep doing what you're doing, or change it up, try for better. But to be honest, it's probably going to backfire because you don't have the money to spend like the other teams. What I'd do if I was West Ham, I'd be aiming to finish in the top 10 every year, and I'd be full sending a trophy. If I'm in Europe, I'm going to be in the Conference League or at a push the Europa League. I'd full send it and just try my hardest to win that competition. If I'm not in Europe, go and win a Carabao Cup, full send the Carabao. But that's what I do, because you don't have the money. You don't have the money to compete. Now, I think actually on that, I think West Ham are being bought or by some rich Croatian, Donny.
Yeah, I think they're part owners. I think they've bought a stake in football clubs, so they have got money. To be fair, so you know what I mean. Like,
if they're willing to throw the cash, I would agree with what you said, and I'd sack him at the end of the season. Spend the cash, get a better manager in United's playing. But if they're not prepared to spend 150 million, 100 million every summer, then I would say no. Stick where you are and go for the trophies. That's what I would say.
If West Ham got the 4th spot 2 seasons ago, it would have been a whole story. Well, it's crazy that they were nearly there, man. That's 2 seasons ago, crazy in lockdown that they were that close to go and getting it. Let's speak on Tottenham and Conte.
Yeah, man.
He's under pressure at the minute. Lost the last 3 games, I believe, is it? Or 2 out of the last 3. What are you making of Antonio Conte right now and Tottenham as a whole? I feel like for me, yes, they're playing boring football, but it's still third. How many clubs would like? How many points are they behind you?
3, but we've got a game in hand.
Okay, 3. We got a game in hand. Still, you have to win that game in hand, so they've got a point. So let's say 3 points for now. They're third in the league. Where did Tottenham fans think they would be? Like, this idea again, I feel like with the way you play now, it's more significant than points. I feel like for me right now, the better football you play right now is more significant than points and where you are and what progress you're making right now. And the fact, I don't know, this is what I get right now. But then people are saying, well, hold on a minute. Why is Conte not getting the same treatment as Mourinho, as what's the other manager that they had before that? Nuno. So why are they not?
Yeah. So for me, there's a couple of things that it's a sick debate, this Tottenham debate at the moment, because there are two sides to the coin. You know what I mean? There's the side that you just said in terms of your third, you're 3 points behind, why you're crying, and then this other side of, you know, why are we not competing? So for me, I think it's a case of, I don't think you're gonna win the league at this moment in time playing the style of football that Conte does, because I think you'll end up dropping too many points and getting tight games because you're not attacking enough, and I think you'll draw too many games. And that's what I said about Tuchel last season, and that's what I said about Conte this season. And I think the frustration comes maybe from the Spurs fan. I'm not a Spurs fan, so you know, I don't speak for them, but if I had to guess what I think they're moaning about, I think they'd probably moan about the fact that they have one of the best teams that they've had in a long time that probably can compete for this league. But I think that they're being held back by the manager because of the style of football that they're playing. I think if they had a more attacking manager and let some of these players free, the Sons, the Kanes, the Kuliveski when he's fit, these type of players, I think if you let these players free in a more advanced role and let them go and create and explore the pitch higher up the pitch, I think that you might have a better chance of winning the league because you're more likely to win games and draw them. And I think that's probably where the frustration comes. If you look at where they are in the league, they're probably bang on for top 4. You'd imagine. They'll probably have a good run at the Cups and get maybe to the last 16, maybe the quarterfinals of the Champions League. You don't have a great record, Conte. But are they going to win anything? This is why they get frustrated, bro, because they don't win nothing. That's the frustration.
It's almost like that first, you know what I mean? The first kind of like when you break the duck. I think once they break that duck here, you start to have a different sort of kind of perspective and sort of, you know what I mean, different mindset. You know, right now, I feel like they're very, very kind of feeling of, you know what, we could go get Pochettino back and we could have that feeling of that blanket, that comfort blanket, or being out in the unknown, but also maybe having a chance of winning the trophy under a manager who's been there and done it for trophies. So it's that feeling. What do Tottenham fans want? Do they want to go and cry and go back into that comfort blanket of Pochettino and sing his magic, you know, and not win a trophy? Or you go and get that mentality. You go feel like, right, I got to toughen up here and I got to go and get that Conte feeling. So it's one of them.
I think they want what I think they want. I think they want a manager who, or this is what I'd want if I was a Tottenham fan. I'd want a manager who's got pedigree at winning trophies, playing in an attacking way. Pochettino didn't have the pedigree of winning trophies, and Conte didn't have the pedigree of playing in an attacking way. So they've had neither. I think they're looking for a manager that can play attacking football but has won trophies. Now, who that is, I don't know, man. Maybe the chat can throw in some suggestions. But right now, they've not got a manager who plays in attack. They've got a manager who wins trophies in Conte, but they've not got a manager that plays in an attacking way. I think that's the issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up to Obey says, what does United have to do in the next few years to win silverware? Listen, we just got to go for the Europa League. Go for the Europa League. Carabao Cup, we got to take that seriously. FA Cup, we got to take it seriously. Listen, I'm up for going to Carabao Cups, mate. Wembley. I've not been Wembley since 2018. So in terms of club football, in terms of England, I've been there more times than you can remember. But I think for me, we've got to just take it seriously, and obviously, hopefully, other teams drop off. But it's difficult, man. You've got to be consistent. You've got to have that luck as well in there. But we've also got to take it seriously, man. There's so many games where we've not took it seriously and we've got beat by West Ham.
This is the thing as well, bro, that I think teams need to start doing is when you're in these competitions, these Carabao Cups and the FA Cups, you know what you need to do? You need to take them seriously. Because if you get all the way and you get to the final and you win, suddenly you've just won a trophy. You've won a final against usually a decent side. And what does that breed? It breeds a winner's mentality. It breeds a team spirit of, I want to do this again. All right, you only won the Carabao Cup. You think City fans are absolutely gassed off the moon winning Carabao Cups? Nah, but we're buzzing, and the team that helps the team go forward. And if you win that Carabao Cup, which is usually in March time, it gives you a boost to go and win the Premier League or go and win the FA Cup. People sometimes laugh at City for winning the Carabao Cup. Laugh all you want, because what it does is it builds that mentality. It builds a winner's mentality. And there's a reason teams like Spurs might have not won trophies in the past, because they might write off some of these Carabao Cups. Well, it worked for City, so maybe some other teams might want to try it out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Let's go and look at all the Premier League fixtures this weekend, and let's see who's going to get the results. Big up to everybody still watching right now. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing to City Extra in the chat. Make sure you guys, keep liking the video, people. Let's see what Ronald Jacob says here. Spurs can go in for Tuchel. He's available right now. I think for me, you've got to make sure you find out if Conte works or not before you go in for...
Tuchel ain't going to win them the league. He might win them a trophy, but he's not going to win them the league.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. Right, let's look at the fixtures. So, what have you gone for City versus Leicester? What have you gone for?
I think if Haaland starts, I think we win the game. It's going to be a tricky one. I'm not expecting an easy game. I still think even if he doesn't start, given how fresh we are, I think we can get over the line. But it's going to be a tricky one, man. And I think there'll be a lot of people maybe in the chat who might think City might drop points there. And I would understand why. It is a difficult one. I'm going to go for a City win.
City win. Okay, let us know in the chat what's your scores for the game against City. 3-1 City, 4-2. Leicester fan, obviously, he says 5-2 to City. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll discuss Wolves as well. City to win 2-1. 2-2 says Super City. I don't know, Jeff says 5-0 City. 2-2 says Martin. So, yeah, confident City fans in there. A couple of them. But it could be one of them. Bournemouth versus Spurs. I can't lie to you. It's got a upset on the cards. Bournemouth, obviously, have done well. They're not. You know what I mean? If you look at where they are in the Premier League, who would have thought that they would be there?
Form's dropped off though, Saeed, bro. 1 win in the last 5, 2 losses, 2 draws.
What, for Bournemouth?
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Okay. But to be fair though, they're still where they, you know what I mean? If you look at the Premier League table, where are they in the Premier League table?
Oh, they're doing all right there. They had a 6 start, they're 14th. I think they could be an upset, but I don't see a Bournemouth win. I would only see a draw. Spurs have to take that very, very funny VAR disallowed goal and the frustration that they got from it. They have to take that and use that negative energy and turn it into a positive force when they play Bournemouth tomorrow. So I still favour Spurs ever so slightly, but it wouldn't. Yeah, a lot of 1-1s in the chat, man. It wouldn't surprise me if this ended up in a draw. But I don't think Bournemouth would win.
No, for me again, it's gonna take. It's one of them though, because it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Anything could happen, and that's why I'm like, what? Let me see what happens in this game. Brentford versus Wolves. Again, Brentford's so inconsistent, man. You know, if you look at their last 5 games, loss, draw, win, loss, draw. Like they're all over the place, man. They're all over the place. And obviously Wolves, bloody hell, mate. 1 win in the last 5.
Yeah.
I think they've got a draw all over it. I'm going for a 0-0 in this game. But then again, I can see Brentford just coming out and just smacking them up because it's Brentford what they do at home. They've got a decent home.
It's interesting, this one, bro. I'm looking at Brentford's goals conceded. They've got one of the worst defences in the league, but they're playing against the worst attack in the league. So will they get away with it? I think if Brentford were to win this, they'd nick it 1-0 or something like that. And you know what? I'm gonna back a Brentford win on this one, you know. Just a slight. I think they might nick it. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think they might just nick it, Brentford.
Yeah. Okay, say no more. Wolves as well, no manager still, people can't score goals. I mean, if you look at how many goals they've scored, Wolves like 5. Shocking. Absolute shocking.
That's so bad.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. Brighton versus Chelsea. This one here, I think it could go either way. I genuinely think it could go either way. But then again, Brighton just can't score goals. Like, if you look at how many goals they've scored this season, they've only scored...
15.
15, but then if you look at their goal difference, it's 1. They've conceded the same amount of probably goals and they've scored 15 and 14. So just very, very inconsistent. Their form.
It's not a bad defence though. That's only 3 more than City and Arsenal. It's the same as Tottenham. So it's not the worst defence, but it's a tight game. I mean,
tight game. And also look at their form guide. Lost, draw, lost, draw. Like terrible form from where they was at the start of the season. They've been horrendous.
All I would say in that one, in that 5, they have played Liverpool, Tottenham, and City.
Oh yeah, to be fair.
So the form might not tell the true story. Brighton were very good against City, and on another day with some mistakes from City, they might have got something out of the game. That Caicedo in the middle, mate, he's top draw. Their problem is, which you've mentioned, is they didn't look like scoring goals against City. The goal that they scored against us last weekend was. It was a poor defence. There were about 4 mistakes from City players in the lead up to the goal, and Ederson made a mistake. He should have saved it. So with that, I'm probably going to lean towards Chelsea, but wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw. I don't think Brighton win the game, but I'll go for a tight Chelsea win. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up in a 0-0 or maybe a 1-1.
Yeah. Big up to Araf for the super chat. Says Conte has touchline ban versus Marseille and isn't allowed to speak to players before and during the match or in the dressing room. Think this will affect Spurs. Maybe it might help them a little bit in terms of not having that anxiety before the game, the pressure. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I think
it's a huge game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge game. If it's win or bust, like I think they need to get a point. But listen, if they lose that game, bro, embarrassing. But big up to you, Araf, for the super chat. Let's move on to Crystal Palace, Southampton. Again, these 2 teams here. Crystal Palace have got 2 wins in the last 5. And then when you look at Southampton, they have 1 win in the last 5, 2 draws and 2 losses. Again, young team. This could be, I don't know, it could be a dead rubber, but then I think Crystal Palace should win this. They've got enough quality to win.
I mean... Southampton have played 12 games this season and only taken points in 6 of them games. However, 3 of them have come in the last 3 matches. So you could say that are they starting to find a little bit of form here? They played really well against Arsenal. They were really compact and good side. Crystal Palace just seemed to be a little bit inconsistent, man. Like, you know what I mean? I think they need to try and find some rhythm and some form. I'm going to go a draw in this one, bro. I don't know which way this one goes. I think either team could beat it. So I'll sit on the fence and I'll say a draw on this one, man.
Yeah, Zaha's scoring straight into my FPL too. Listen, that FPL, by the way, I failed massively. I don't know what you are with Lewis with
I don't
FPL,
play
but
it, man, because you know why? Yeah, I can't commit to it because you know what it is.
yeah, same.
I can't commit to it, bro. After a week, someone will frustrate me because they did something stupid. They get sent off or miss a penalty, and I'll be
Yeah,
fuming, and then I just won't play it. And then so I just decided this year I can't even be arsed, man.
yeah. All right, then say no more. So let's go with the next game. This could be an interesting game, you know. First game for Unai Emery, and also Newcastle are flying at the minute. I actually want Newcastle to lose here, but I can't see them losing, even with Unai Emery coming in, who rejected Newcastle as well, by the way. So this is a lot to play for in terms of, you know, Eddie Howe. He could have not got this job, really. It's crazy to think Unai Emery could have had this job, but he rejected it.
Mm.
What are you thinking? Unai Emery's first game, can he get a result here? I'm going for Newcastle to win, man. I think Newcastle will be too strong for them.
Yeah,
I'm going for 3-1.
I think. Yeah, I agree, man. I think Newcastle will be too strong for Aston Villa here. I think probably just a little bit too soon, and I think Emery needs a little bit of time on the training ground to let his players understand. I think the way he plays is very. I think you have to understand what he wants from you. So I think that once he gets going, I think they'll be fine, and I think they'll shoot up the league. I think they'll finish between 11th and maybe sneak into the 9th or 10th spot. But I think it's too soon, man. I'll go for a Newcastle win as well, bro.
Oh, right. He doesn't take charge until the 1st of November. Okay, fair enough then. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Maybe visa problems or something like that. So we'll see. Fulham versus Everton. Again, this could be a decent game. Fulham flying. Well, let's see if they're flying at the minute. Let's see. To be fair,
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
they're 7th. They're only, 2 points behind us. So listen, they're doing decent, man.
Said that at the start of the season. I said if you go back to that first game at the first Manc talk, I said don't sleep on Fulham, man. I think Fulham will do really good this year. I think if that manager, Marco Silva, he knows how to get the players to attack. And I didn't have them doing as well as they're doing. To me, I didn't have them 7th. But it's no surprise to me with the way that he plays football, Marco Silva, that they are nowhere near that relegation zone. What will happen to Fulham? They're going to have a really, really exciting season. They will end up
Yeah,
getting battered off a team, and I reckon City could stuff them for about 8 goals because he ain't going to defensively. Silva
yeah.
ain't the best manager, and I think we could properly expose them. But they will beat a lot of teams around them because of the way that he plays. So yeah, I probably see this one. Fulham are at home. I think I'm backing Fulham, bro. I think Fulham could win it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then the last game of the weekend, Leeds versus, well, not last game in terms of last game, but of the fixture on that day. What, 7:45 kickoff? What?
TV
Since when?
company's moving mad, innit?
What?
Yeah, man.
Like, seriously, they're moving mad. Like, what are you doing? Like 7:45. Like, luckily Leeds is only around the corner from Liverpool, but bloody hell, mate. But anyway, 7:45 kickoff is weird. It's back-to-back games on Sky Sports. Like, that's
Yeah.
weird. But yeah, what are you thinking that one? I think Liverpool win this one 3-1. What are you going for?
I think Leeds are in trouble, bro. I think Leeds are in big trouble. So yeah,
I
I
think he's
back
gonna
it.
get sacked, you know. I think he's gonna get sacked. He's gonna get sacked, Jesse Marsh. I generally do. I like him as a person, but I think he's getting sacked, me.
I think they get relegated this year, me Leeds. I think it's they're going back down.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
big shot, you know.
Just that when I watch him, bro. Honestly, and I'm not saying this in a bad way to like Leeds fans, but when I watch Leeds, I see a championship side. That's all.
I do as well,
That's all
in
I
a
can
weird
say.
sense.
I see championship
Naivety.
players.
Yeah, naivety. But yeah, I think Liverpool win that one. Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, I think Arsenal will be too strong. And then we're at 4:15. And I think we'll be
But just quick one before we just move on that rapid. Yeah, Nottingham Forest, two losses in the last 5, 1 win and 2 draws. Again, are they starting to turn up a little bit? They beat Liverpool last weekend. They'll be going to Arsenal with nothing to lose. Pressure will be on Arsenal if City win on Saturday because we'll be top of the league, and that'll be huge pressure because then Arsenal will be expected from every man and his dog to beat Nottingham Forest, and they don't want to drop points. So
really
yeah, we're
weird.
back in Arsenal, but
I still think Bournemouth could get relegated. I think Southampton might get relegated.
I agree on Bournemouth.
I agree on Bournemouth. I think Southampton will get relegated. And I think Nottingham Forest is firepower might get them over the edge. I just don't know what it is, yeah, but they've got a lot of firepower. They've spent a lot. I think Leeds, Bournemouth, and Southampton could get relegated.
Leeds, Bournemouth, Southampton. Yeah, not a bad shout, bro. I think that Bournemouth have massively overachieved. I seen some stat about XG in that, and they were like, or expected points, and they massively overachieved it, man. So I backed the Leeds one, I backed the Bournemouth one, and then so what Nottingham Forest need to do, they just need to stay in there as long as possible. They need to stay in there. Nah, Jeff, Leicester are not going down, bro. Promise you that Leicester will not go down. They just need to not. They're already 2 points behind Leicester. They're probably going to get beat at the weekend. You don't want it to become 5, 6, 7 points because that's when it becomes difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, big up to everybody. Listen, we've enjoyed the Manc Talk. Lewis, man, it's been a pleasure. Listen, we're here every day. We're live every Friday, 3:00. Big up to everybody here. Big up to the community. Obeyed everyone that sent in the super chat today. Love to everybody who's here. Big up the Manc Talk community. We're growing. We're trying to have a decent chat. 2 Mancs. That's why we call it the Manc Talk. Lewis, City Extra. Let them know. You doing anything tonight, or you guys done?
Yeah, I'll do a preview later on tonight. Not sure what time. Predicted 11, all that kind of stuff. So head over if you want to see that. Big game for us, man. And yeah, obviously we got to watch along in the morning. So yeah, 6 stream, bro. Yeah, smash a like on the stream, innit, guys?
Yeah, smash a like on this video. Big up to everybody who's been here. I'll be back tomorrow for the preview for the game against West Ham. So check out for that one. Big up to the City fans in here, United fans, any fans here. It's called a Manc Talk. We try and give you fair football analysis. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your Friday, people. And if not, have a good weekend. Peace.